So my sleep has been improving. Uh, some days it goes back to not so good. Um, yeah, last few weeks it was improving. Last 3 days, um, not so good, but still okay within the range. Still within acceptable range. Yeah, I mean, 2 weeks ago I was getting about 5 to 6 hours a day, sometimes 7 hours, and I had sometimes I got 8 hours of sleep. So it ranged, but majority of the time was 5 to 6. At odd times I got 7 to 8 hours. So that was a quite good improvement. But of course, not like not continuous hours. Of course, I woke up multiple times throughout the night, and it was not it it was not perfect, but it was acceptable. It was good. Um, Even my smartwatch will give me a good rating on the sleep quality. So I was getting close to some of the night I was getting a score of 80, which is good. Some nights I got 70, 75, which is about 70 to 80, let's say. That was good. That was an improvement. So the days when I'm struggling a lot, I just take the pill, basically. Passion flower pills. Um, well, I'm trying different things. I don't take passion flower every day. I don't take the pills every day. I don't try to do that because if you get yourself used to taking pills, your body will get used to it and it will not help you sleep. This is the issue. Um, so passion flower seems to work, but it doesn't work immediately. Alright. For me, it takes about 3 hours before it kicks in. About probably 3 hours at least, before I experience any drowsiness. Not drowsiness. I won't say I will get drowsy from the passion flower, but I don't really get drowsy. But before it starts to help me with sleep. Um, what other solutions I tried? I've tried anise seed. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. This is the one. It's called anise seeds. I think anise seed. No, I don't think you see it on the camera. Yeah. So anise is the spelling for anise is ANISE. This one was recommended to me by my mom. Well, anise seed, and this is I think the anise flower. I guess there are two different versions of it. The flower part, I think there's a flower part, like the one that looks like a diamond, or not diamond. What do you call it? Like the larger. That's more stronger, I think, but the seed seems to be better. I think. I don't know. You could try both. So there are different types of anise you could buy online or in the store. Um, and that seems to help too. It does help a little bit, just like the passion flower. I tried tart cherry. It helps also, but it's the same thing. If you take it every day, it will not help. And the tart cherry is the problem is here in North America is very expensive. So the economical way to go is with passion flower or aniseed. Chamomile is not that much of a sedative to me. Um, yeah, you could try camouflage. Camouflage, I try it. It might help a little bit, but everyone is different, of course. Like some people, chamomile might help them sleep right away. Right? Everybody is different. Chamomile to me is the least. I would say the least on the list. The least thing to help me sleep. Um, I would say that my first choice will be maybe is either anise or passion flower. Like both are as strong. Like they have the same strength almost, I would say. The passion flower and anise, um, or anise, or how you say it, anise, yeah, anise seeds and passion flower. To me, they look like they both have similar strength, and they both help. Of course, they don't work right away, and it depends. Like if it was not too bad, my sleep was not that bad. If my insomnia is really bad, they will not help at all. So like they're even weak. Like every herbal stuff that you take is gonna be weak. You need some pharmaceutical, right? But I don't advocate for pharmaceutical. I don't like pharmaceuticals. They could cause damage. But usually, if the insomnia is very bad, nothing is gonna help that much. Like uh, you just have to try to rest. That's it. Like I know sometimes it's just lay down in bed, like do nothing at all, even wide awake. Um, still better than taking that pharmaceutical. Yeah, I mean that's what I've done to get out of the pharmaceutical. Actually, I just stay in bed. I stay in bed, and even though I'm awake, I just stay in bed. Right? I try not to stress about it. I try to relax my mind, and eventually you might be able to fall asleep on your own. Eventually, slowly, right? Maybe 1 hour a day, maybe 2 hours, and gradually it start to get better, right? But it's good, alhamdulillah. It's good. It's got better. Um, uh, Alhamdulillah, it got better. Um, so the other suggestion is, I mean, beside they say take milk. Milk, it doesn't really help much. But if you want to take milk, I would suggest to take this one too, the rose flower. Add it to your milk. What's it called? Rose water, orange blossom. That's the one. Orange blossom. Orange blossom is has a calming effect. I also, so it will make your milk more enhanced, right? It will enhance your milk. This is where they use it on Middle Eastern pudding and stuff like that, like sahlab, and so that has a relaxing effect as well. It But it doesn't help sleep. It just has a relaxing effect, more like a calming, relaxing effect. You could try that also. Uh, One thing about the sleep, um, what I'm noticing, like some days I get, let's say, 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep. It feels more than the days when I get 8 hours of sleep. It feels like the sleep quality is more. So it's all about perception sometimes. So it's not the number of hours that matters. Sometimes it's just a perception, and other markers of. Um, so there's perception, and there's also markers you could use to measure your sleep quality, right? For example, one day I slept 8 hours. Okay, according to my smartwatch, of course, not according to me. But to me, it felt like I didn't sleep. It felt like I had only maybe 2 hours or 3 hours of sleep. And the reason being is because this is one of my observations, is that when um, we are continuously woken up at night, when you continuously wake up at night, let's say every 1 hour you wake up, or every half an hour you wake up, even in total you get 8 hours of sleep, it's still gonna feel like you didn't sleep at all. That's normal. I think that's the reason we feel that. That's the reason why we perceive we didn't sleep, right? That's why a lot of people who don't sleep actually have this perception that, well, I didn't sleep, right? It's because you might have only slept half an hour or 10 minutes, but you keep sleeping 5, 10 minutes, half an hour, and you wake up. Sleep 5, 10 minutes, half an hour, and you wake up. You don't even realize you slept, right? You don't even realize it. So you might have that kind of thing, right? Your perception, right? You perceive that you're not sleeping, but in reality you are sleeping maybe half an hour or 15 minutes, but you don't notice it, right? You don't notice it unless you have a smartwatch that could measure it, right? Because you're awake all night. You could remember every minute of that night almost, but for a few minutes you lose awareness, but you don't remember it. That's the thing, right? Unless you have a smartwatch to measure it, then you will not know that you slept. um, Sometimes it happens like that, because if you don't dream nothing, there's no indicator that you slept, then you will not know you slept, right? All you know is that you're awake most of the time, right? You remember you being awake all most of the time. So that's why you have that perception that you didn't sleep, but in reality is you probably slept way enough, right? Than you think. um, Way more than you think. You probably slept way more than you think. So that's perception. uh, the other quality, we said there are a lot of measures you have to look at, and it's hard to do it without a smartwatch actually. So you have the heart rate variability. Heart rate variability is an indicator of sleep quality, right? Of course, it's not just an indicator of sleep quality, it's also an indicator of good health. um, when your heart rate variability is very low, you know you didn't sleep that well. As simple as that. When you don't sleep, your heart rate variability goes down. So that's one measure. Another measure is the resting heart rate. When your resting heart rate is too high at night, that means you didn't sleep well. When your resting heart rate goes down, that means you got good sleep. All right? So that's another measure of sleep quality. Like sometimes I get 8 hours of sleep, but my resting heart rate is very high. Right? Like my smartwatch will tell me I slept 8 hours, but when I look at my resting heart rate and my heart rate variability, and they're both low, this is an indicator that although I might have slept 8 hours, but it was not a good 8 hours, right? It was not a good 8 hours of sleep. I was awake most of the time, and maybe I slept half an hour each time I wake up, right? So number of hours don't tell you like you slept good, right? Even though you might get 8 hours of sleep, but it's not about the number, it's about the quality of the sleep, right? So you need to have a good quality sleep. You look at other parameters as well, like you're looking for the number of hours you had deep sleep, the number of hours you had REM sleep. All these things matter. Sometimes I have 8 hours of sleep, but barely any REM sleep, and barely any deep sleep, right? Like I only have, like, let's say half an hour deep sleep and half an hour REM sleep, and the total sleep duration is 8 hours. So like, don't always just look at the number, look at the quality of the sleep as well, right? So that's what you have to evaluate. um, Normally when I get good deep sleep and REM sleep, the next night my sleep is good. That's why I'm saying, like, sometimes one good night will make the other good night to become good as well. You have one bad night, it's gonna screw up the other night, upcoming nights. Because all about hormones at the end. It's not just depression and thoughts and racing thoughts like they say, right? It's not always like that. It's about hormones, right? Um, Hormones play a role in sleep, and that's a fact. We make hormones at night. When we get enough deep sleep and enough REM sleep, we get good hormones that were gonna help us sleep the next night. And we don't get enough REM and deep sleep, the next night is gonna not it's not gonna be a good night as well. Your hormones will be off balance, and it become a vicious cycle. And this is what we want to avoid when we're trying to improve our sleep, is to prevent the vicious cycle from continuing. So what I do now to prevent this vicious cycle from happening is, on the days when I don't sleep well, or I'm struggling to sleep, I take the pill, like a passion flower or something. I don't take it every day, but only on a day when I'm struggling, right? I'm struggling too much, not like a little, but too much. I take that because I know myself, if I don't take it, I'm not gonna get enough REM or deep sleep, and then eventually, I know I'm gonna sleep, but there's probably not gonna be enough REM and deep, and the next night is gonna mess up the next night, and it's gonna become a vicious cycle. I want to prevent that, so that's why I take the pill. Um, the pill might help me get some REM, more REM, and more deep sleep. So that's what it is. Or even don't necessarily have to take a pill, but you could take the as I said, like anise seeds tea. You could make anise seed teas, or the chamomile tea. I mix them together sometimes. It's chamomile and anise. I just mix them together and I drink it as a tea. Um, yeah, like the other time when I mixed the chamomile and anise together, I was like, after I slept, I was groggy in the morning. Like, I didn't want to get out of the bed. That's how good it was. You know, it helps. It works. Uh, but of course, it didn't help me right away. It took me time before I fell asleep, of course. But once it works, right? Like, I don't. If I didn't have to go to work, I would have stayed in bed for a few more hours, and I would have got even probably close to 8 hours of sleep that day, right? So that's that. And I hope everybody, whatever tips I've been giving in my videos, helps people. Like, that's one of the purpose of making these videos, is to share ideas, to help people, and to help myself as well. When you help people, you help yourself. It's like a karma, right? Because one day I might need these videos again. Maybe I might forget how I help myself, right? All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.